want to take a few minutes to talk about how to lead a rooftop encounter. It's a question I've been asked many times. How do I lead one? And just a few things. I think the first place to start really is to think about what kind of encounter is it you're going to be leading. And there's many different kinds. You could have an online encounter or a live one on a rooftop or a hilltop or in a church building or something. All kinds of different ways that you can have an encounter. So think about that. How you're going to lead it and what kind of encounter it is that you're going to have. And then I guess the second thing to think about is how are you going to get people to join the encounter, because there's all kinds of different ways you could do that. It could be a small group or a large group. We have produced a lot of material that's available on the website that you can use either as part of a social media invitation or emails or other different ways as well. So please take a look at that as well. So the kind of encounter that you have and the people you get to, well, that will largely depend upon what you do, but then how do you lead it once those people are gathered, whether it's physically or whether it's online or whatever. And there's some key things I want to say about that. We have produced a Joining Jesus Facilitators Guide and a Joining Jesus Disciples Journal. That's for the leader and those taking part. And in those, if you look at those, you'll see that we've outlined how a rooftop encounter happens, the different parts of it. Starts by looking out across the city or looking across the community, whatever. And then beginning to look at Acts 10 and just read it. What happened to Peter on that rooftop? And then really beginning to think, well, okay, as we look across this community, what do we see? And what does God see when he looks at it? And then what do we see Jesus doing already on mission? And then how do we join Jesus in that mission? And as you lead this through this process, and then there's some more prayer at the end as well, as you lead it through, just some really important things to think about. This is an encounter with God. It's not a speaking opportunity really. We're not speaking to people that are just listening to us. And I know sometimes as leaders that's what we're accustomed to, but this is a little different to that. We're seeking to help people to really deeply encounter God and get a passion for his heart for the people that are beyond the walls of the church. So as you lead a rooftop encounter, whatever way it is, it's just some things I encourage you to think about. Firstly, allow people space to look and to listen to what God is doing. There doesn't have to be talking all the time. Silence is actually a good thing as people are looking out and just trying to connect with the heart of God. So allow space for people to look and to listen. And then as they begin to talk through those questions, those key questions, give people a chance, the opportunity to share what is really on their heart, what God is really challenging them with, the things they're beginning to think about, perhaps in a different way to what they've ever thought about them before. And one thing, allow people who don't often speak the opportunity to say something. I've found so many times that people who don't often say things, they're given the opportunity and they share what they think, and it is just so important that we heard that voice as well as the voices of so many people who normally speak quite a lot. So please remember as you lead your encounter, whatever kind of encounter it is, that your primary role as the leader of an encounter is not to be the speaker to people that listen, but to be the facilitator of an encounter with God and conversations with each other in the presence of God that will help those that gather to really seek a fresh vision of God's heart for the lost.